I was happy to at least.
What did you say? Welcome, everybody. And I forgot my AirPod, so it's a little loud again today. Today we are going over turtle position, which is it's fun. It's pretty much what we've been working on the past few weeks anyways. Just this week, I think we're gonna focus a little bit more on some defensive movements to do in the turtle position. This tall camera over off to the side is probably gonna die at some point, so you're only gonna have the big one. For now, what I want you guys to do is quick warm-ups with hip heists and some butt scoots. So I'll demonstrate what that'll look like. I'm gonna put myself on mute just to demonstrate, and then I'll come back. Okay, so just a few minutes playing around with that back and forth, hip heist, butt scoot. I'll have you guys warm up with that for probably about 3 minutes. Okay. Hey, Amy. So I know you're still kind of getting set up. Right now, if you check out everyone's camera, I'm having them warm up with hip heisting and butt scoots. Every now and then I'll call out something, but for now, I kind of want you guys to just flow on your own and get your mind and your body ready for the movement. And just so you know, Amy, your camera is off.
Sorry, I was running a little late. Just getting set up.
All good, no worries. So Amy, make sure you're not just sitting out. Yeah, you're actually hip heisting as well and flipping your belly to the sky. Perfect, perfect. Oops. So as you guys are moving, and right now you're just kind of feeling your body and the movement. The hip heist, I know doing it for a long amount of time is actually quite exhausting, but it's really important you start to find comfort in this movement. What I found is trying to keep my hands and knees relatively close together really helps. So if I stay in this position and I'm able to move a lot quicker versus if I'm more spread out. It's a lot harder for me to move my foot and switch my feet and my hands. So if you stay a little bit more balled up, it's a lot easier for you to move and move fast. And I want you guys to start to pick up the pace. So it's kind of starting off similar to like a boxing class where we start off with jump rope or shadow boxing, and I'm trying to have you guys visualize. So with this hip heist movement, and especially the butt scoot, we're so used to jiu-jitsu, butt scoot like this, right? We're just coming here, we switch. I want you guys to switch the mindset up, and I'm gonna give you a more wrestling perspective. So when somebody's behind you, you're here, and then these are little scoots back here, and you're trying to run your feet around, because as we start to get to things where we either have somebody behind us in a referee's position or we're more turtled up, it's really going to be imperative for us to be active, right? The jiu-jitsu, we're used to being more defensive. That's fine. Self-defense, you don't want to stay in that situation. You don't want to stay turtled up. That's what I want. I want to turtle somebody up so I can just punch them in the face. You know, if you're here, bunched up, chilled up, boom, 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 knee, all day, you know? So you might not be able to get submitted. Somebody's not passing your guard. Sure, that's fine. They can punch you and they can kick you and they knee you in the head, all right? So start to learn, switch up the mindset a little bit. Try to make it a little bit more active in these next 3 minutes as I have you guys just kind of flow through. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. And then I'm gonna put myself on mute because I know it's loud back here. Oh, Sarah and Cha, are you guys frozen? I think you guys are frozen, Sarah and Cha. All right, time. Everybody looking. Okay. So Sarah and Cha, you guys will have fun doing this drill with your partner. For Amy and Jennifer, you guys can use your couch or a wall nearby, and I'm gonna bring the camera near the wall so you guys can see. So today what we're gonna work on is, what is this called? It's just called a breakaway in wrestling. That's all it is. And so I'm gonna have you guys kind of work it starting from the wall. So you can see like you might be down here, and especially you don't want to be down with your head to the ground. If your head's pointing down with your butt up, it's gonna be a lot harder for you to start to work your feet back underneath your body. So it's the thing about jujitsu is we have to worry about our necks because we're gonna get worried about getting choked. We have to worry about our necks and our limbs for chokes and submissions. So usually you're trying to shrug and try to defend the chokes with your hands, but you want to work to this position where you're able to use pressure to pressure back into the person. So you can start to get back up and work back to a standing position and then get back into an offensive place, all right? So let me raise the camera so you guys can see me a little bit better. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm here working myself a little bit at an angle. My butt right now is the contact with the wall, and I'm using my hands to push myself back. So I'm here, and then I'm gonna step one leg. My back is not like arched here. My back is trying to cat. So I'm trying to push my back into the person and push my weight back. Here, using my hands to push back. Then I'm gonna step my leg and use my foot to push back. I gotta take off my socks. At least one sock. Or slide. Right? Use my foot to push back. As I'm pushing back, grabbing here, I can start to use the hands down to the waist, keep pressure, and then I'm gonna cut away and try to square up with the person. This might not always happen where you're able to get to your feet. So this is kind of a hip heist mix. Sometimes the person's gonna be pulling you back because they're hip and they're pulling you side to side and backwards. So it's important for you when you fall, you can fall and then come back up. Does that make sense? So you're working to get your feet underneath you fast, which is what the hip heist and the butt scooting is all about. So for people who don't have a partner, what I want you to do is just work the pressure back into the wall, right here, hands, foot, pressure back, shoulder pressure against the wall as I try to stand up, and then I'm cutting away. Do that one for a while, and then I'll have you do the other one. For Sarah and Cha, you guys are gonna do something a little different. So, Sarah and Cha, what you guys are gonna do is, the person can be, let's have you start in the same position. So just right here for now. The person's gonna be behind you. They're just gonna stand over you and just use your hands to pressure back. The person on top is gonna try and stay behind them. The person on bottom, you wanna use your hands to pressure back to feel where they are. And you're just trying to butt scoot to get back to them so they're facing you again. That's it. You're just feeling for that. So you can either get back to a standing position or get back to a seated guard position. Sarah and Cha, all right? Sarah, since you're on top, you can pull Cha backwards into side control. You can pull her and push her side to side. You don't have to just push. You can pull. You can knock her over. Okay. So she's gotta quickly base, scoot back, base, scoot back until she can get back into you. If she falls, she has to come back to her feet and get her legs back underneath her. Does that make sense? Thumbs up if it does. Awesome. Oh, wait, Cha's like, whatever. Okay, well, give it a try. I'll be watching you guys. Amy and Jennifer, do you guys, thumbs up if you guys got what you need to be doing? You're just working off the wall or your couch. So you're just here, step, pressure back, here, move in. That's it.
In the version, mentally imagining our opponent is
behind you. They're behind you.
If we step up, aren't we just letting them get their hooks?
No, not necessarily. Most people are trying to pull you back down. Some people will try to get your hooks in, but you need to, when you're standing, you're gonna stand like this, right? So you're blocking one side. Sorry, you're blocking one side with your hand and the other side with your elbow. So you're using these elbows to prevent them from stepping in. Make sense? Cool. Yeah. If Amy and Jennifer, if you guys can point your cameras to wherever you're working, that will be helpful. Then I can give you guys notes. I know it might be difficult, but otherwise I'm just looking at your couches. Yeah. There you go. Try to keep your head up. Your shrug, Jennifer, shrugging, getting your shoulder to your ear and keeping your hands here, either across. Cross is gonna usually work the same side you're usually touching. Cross, you can block, right? You can block here. I'm gonna go back and give you 2 notes. I'm gonna look at Sarah and Cha, how they're doing. Yeah. Just try to get your feet back under you, Sarah, and try to get your posture good. So you're not bent over, otherwise you can just snap you back down. That makes sense. Yeah, yeah, she can pull you down. Yep. Yeah, good job, Sarah. That was good. So, okay, keep working. Cha, if you see the neck and you can use the neck to snap her back down, go for it. You know, you guys are still working light, but show her that that's there, right? So she still kind of has to respect that a little bit. So you guys think about getting your feet underneath you like a surfer. How a surfer kind of is like here, and they're popping back up and getting their feet back underneath, and then pushing their weight back on the board and surfing here. That's how you want to think of it. Amy and Jennifer, I'm going to give you some more details in like just a few minutes. Let me see Sarah and Charlie work for a little bit. Okay, good. So from turtle, it looks like Sarah and Cha, you guys, it's easy. Let's try it this time from like a seated position, almost like a seated guard. And for Jennifer and Amy, this is gonna make a lot more sense. Your contact point is not your feet to the wall. Your contact point should be your back. And initially it will be your butt. So I'm actually not perpendicular with my feet to the wall. I'm trying to connect my flank at first here. Usually people are really going to be back here. Let me grab my dummy real quick. So my dummy. And he's kind of turtled up. Remember how I said your hips take that corner? So the person behind you is going to be in that corner with their hips connected to the corner of your hips. And then one hand here, the other hand grabbing usually your wrist to roll it in. We're not going to work this part. If somebody has your wrist, your posture is going to be, if somebody has your wrist, your posture is broken, right? So let's just start the easy route where they don't have the wrist control right now. They're just here behind you. So the person has the corner of the hip. So that's your contact point on the wall. If we demonstrate with Sarah and Cha, Cha, you're on the bottom. Sarah, you're on top. And go ahead and go to the turtle position a little bit. Yeah. Sarah's in corner. Yeah, exactly. And then Sarah, you can even start to have one hand on Cha's belly. The other hand, the far hand will be just touching her tricep. Oh yeah, that way, sorry. You had it the right way. So far hand on the belly, close hand on the tricep, right? So this is kind of where she is. So now, since there's more contact point, as Cha tries to sit up, Sarah can use her hand on the belly to pull Cha to her butt, right? So it's Cha try to start to work up a little bit, like you're trying to get out. Oh man, you guys froze. And then, yeah, she can pull her to the side, right? So now Sarah has a little bit more contact, right? So if you're here and you're still kind of bent over, just how Jennifer, you're asking, the person can get their hooks in. So because she's in this kind of tabletop position, Sarah has plenty of room to just kind of pop her hooks in. This is why we want to start to work to get our feet underneath us versus trying to be in this, excuse my language, head down, ass up position. It's not a good position for jujitsu. So you don't want to be here. We're trying to work here, right? We want to work to getting our feet underneath our body and getting some distance where we're trying to push that. All right. So with the wall again, I want you guys to try it from the seated position. It's gonna make more sense. So we're kind of sit on our butt, just a little bit. My feet are crossed here. My butt is connected to the wall. I'm going to tap my back and step, right? Notice as I'm stepping, I'm leaning against the wall. I'm putting weight onto the poor opponent so that it makes it heavy for them to carry me. When I step, I'm also doing something else. I'm trying to get my hips far away and my shoulders close. So they get from here around my waist to here. They become extended. All right. Guys behind me. Here, connected. I'm close. My legs are underneath me, so it's a lot easier for me to step. And I'm popping back, getting my hips far away. And if the person was up, I'd be leaning my upper body against them. All right, does that make sense? So now let's go the technical route, Sarah and Cha. As you guys have been working here, right? So you want to start with your posture a little bit more up high. So instead of being balled back in, you want to start to get more open. Yeah, because now it's going to be easier for you to get your front leg in front of you. Otherwise, you're putting weight on your own leg. It's going to be hard for you to step. Make sense? Right? So go ahead and start to find where Sarah is and lean against her and use your opposite leg to step and push against her. Exactly. Control her hands. Yeah, now you can start to step up. Boom. Lean that body against her. Good. So that close hand you can kind of let go as you're stepping up. So try it again one more time. Take it from the top. Right. Good. Lean against her. Yeah, much better. Questions, Jennifer and Amy? Oh, you guys got it? Cha, do you have any questions from there? Oh, okay, continue to work it now. Cha and Sarah just technical for now, and everybody else is working technical. So not your feet, Jennifer, it's your hip. Get your feet off the wall. You can even take a little bit of an angle so you're not like so perpendicular. Make sure you get your butt on the wall. There you go. Jennifer, you can even step out just a little bit more so your legs aren't so cramped. Try to get your posture tall, Amy. And this for jiu-jitsu people, this is uncomfortable because we're worried about the choke. But you have to gotta get comfortable defending the choke with your shoulder and your hands. Shoulder, hands, and chin to defend the choke. You gotta lean your head back, Amy. Your body is still curled over. Very nice, Sarah. Very nice. Good job. You're pretty athletic where you're able to get your feet underneath you even though you lost balance. But that's kind of the whole point of the drill, is to find ways to get your feet underneath you. I can't tell you how many times I got yelled at in Turtle for being too spread out. Coach is always telling me, get my legs underneath me. So sometimes if it's hard for you to pull your legs underneath you, it might be easier for you, trying to think of it. You know, there's ways to either move your opponent towards you or move yourself towards your opponent, if that makes sense. So if you can't pull your legs in, sometimes it's easier to just run yourself in. So what I'm saying is, you're spread out, all right? We're spread out. It might be difficult for me to be here and then hop back in into it through doing like some sort of surfer movement, right? To hop my legs in. So instead, what I will do, I'm spread out, post up, and run my legs through until I can get my feet underneath me, right? So sometimes you can't do it in one movement. Sometimes it's just a run, 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 or you take your upper body and scoot it back to your lower body. So if I'm here, if I can't run my feet towards myself, if I have space here, I can kind of walk my hands back. So now my upper body is over my legs, but I'm either trying to get my legs underneath my upper body or my upper body on top of my legs, right? It's either or. It's either or. It's just about however you can get your legs underneath you at this point. All right, so you guys keep doing the same thing. Keep playing around with it. A few more minutes. All right, good looking. So Sarah and Chad, we're starting to get into the next, the second option that I gave you earlier, which is when somebody's trying to pull you back and you land on your butt or you're about to land on your back, all right? We know jujitsu people, we don't ever want to get stuck on our back because somebody can just come on top of us and pin us down in side control. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut our arm behind us, right? And we're gonna fall to our bellies and scramble really fast to get our legs up underneath us as fast as we can. So this happens a lot. So I'm gonna call the wall Steve because Stiggy does this to me all the time, all right? All right, so I'm here, I'm trying to defend, I'm doing a good job defending. The person's like taking me left and right. And then they give a little space. I'm pushing back so much, I'm about to fall to my back. All right, so as I'm about to fall, I'm gonna come back up and face the wall. I'll do it in slow motion. So as I'm here, I'm putting pressure against the wall. I'm sliding, I'm keeping connection, cutting this hand back and getting my feet back underneath me, right? This hand can serve as an underhook. This hand can also serve, if the person's still on my back, to grab around their legs. So I might end up in a position like this where I'm here, scrambling to get my feet and then having to run around. Okay, so I'm gonna either underhook, grab around the legs, and run my feet to their legs. Right, so my legs are underneath their body, so I can run around to their back. But the point is to cut away and to use the hip heist drill that we were doing earlier. Right, we're here, and just imagine this is the cutting, and then getting our feet back underneath us really fast. Right, very similar to the hip heist movement we were doing. Amy, if you can, you might want to drag your mat over to your door or your wall so you have a little cushion as you're doing this drill, because you really want to cut, kind of sprawl and drop. Sarah, Cha go on top of Sarah, so then you can kind of demo. All right, so just imagine Sarah's trying to come up. Right, posture, get your posture up, Sarah. And Cha, you're pulling her back to her back. Right, so her butt falls. Sarah, you're gonna cut away. Yeah, scramble and back up. All right, so you can arm drag if that's what you got. You can underhook if that's what you got. You can grab the leg if that's what's in front of you. Does that make sense, Sarah and Cha? Do it one more time. Face sideways so they can see you. Yeah. Right here. So we're here. She's pressuring back. Sarah's trying to pull her back. Right? She's just cutting away. Dropping in. She might not always be able to keep her body so high off the ground. So sometimes when you do it, Sarah, you might completely flop all the way to the ground. So try that. Show them that one. So we're here. Boom. You're back. I was trying to pull you back and you fall. Yes, exactly. And you're just scrambling back up. Okay. Is that making sense to you, Sarah? Does it make sense to you, Cha? A little bit. Where are you having questions? Or do you just need to do it? Sometimes it's just like a feel thing. Oh yeah, she just needs to do it. Amy, questions?
Do you think you could demo it slowly on the wall again?
Yeah, okay. Let me do it on the wall. All right. So I'm here, side butt connected. Usually I'm trying to work to here. Shoulders in my ears, all right? Defending with my hands here. And I just use my hands to base when I need. If I can be up here and just base with my legs, I will. If I get thrown this way, I'm gonna base with my hands. If I get thrown this way, I'm gonna base with my hands. But I'm using my hands to defend against the choke around my neck, to defend against grabs around my hips. Here, right? So my hands are ready to do things. All right? I'm gonna pressure back. The person's sliding me back down, I fall. Belly down, pushing back, and getting my feet back underneath me. Sometimes I might not be able to get to the surfer position. Sometimes I might be here, having to run my feet underneath. Is that better for you? Okay. Questions, Jennifer? You got to do it? Okay. We'll see after you guys do it.
All right, I have to go find a wall that's not next to a hard piece of.
Yeah.
Be right back.
Okay. And run to get your feet underneath you immediately. Get your feet underneath you fast. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in that turtle chase. It's not where you want to be. Hey, Jennifer, you got some questions?
No, I just wanted to see what Sean and Sarah are doing.
Okay, so let's do a quick check-in. What was the most difficult? I'm gonna start with Sarah and Cha since they were doing it live. And I think that'll be helpful for the people who are doing it solo. So what would you guys say, starting with Sarah, since you're the closest, has been the most difficult part for you to grasp so far about this technique?
I mean, I don't think any of us normally try to have sort of a planned fall where we twist. We're ready to like twist around. And I think that most of us being jujitsu, learning from a jujitsu school, we feel okay sitting on our butt. So it's kind of, I mean, we're sort of doing more of a wrestling mentality right now. So I feel like it's a different mentality. And so that I think Cha like would rather sit into maybe take a half guard. And so the whole like twisting all the way around seems like what we wouldn't do.
Right. So so this is this is the conundrum with jujitsu people, right? So we tend to want to just shell up and stay in our defenses, which is okay, I guess, for certain situations. But if we think about it in terms of like an actual attack and not IBJJF point sport system, because this is just how I'm trying to teach. I really want to break away from IBJJF point systems because it's not going to serve us if somebody's actually trying to punch us and kick us in the face, right? Let's make our jujitsu work for like actually being able to defend ourselves and fight back. When we're going for a half guard position, that works really well. That's actually a good option for us to have. And it typically you're going to go for it when somebody's trying to keep pressure high on your back. So if I'm here and I'm high on the person's back, and I'm trying to lock up here, I'm not going to really be able to work my upper body up so I can get my legs underneath me. Now I kind of have to just kind of scramble up to my shoulders and then work in to get to my half guard. But let's rewind a little bit. Why did we let ourselves get to the position where our posture was broken so badly that they were able to keep us pinned, our upper body pinned down with to the point where we're in the turtle position? If you actually start to watch yourself roll and be mindful of this, you'll notice, especially with jujitsu people, we put ourselves there. We're not actively trying to not allow ourselves. It's one thing if somebody puts you in the turtle and they're like actually pressuring you down and breaking you down from a scramble to the point where you're just like here, 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 and now you're here. But usually if somebody's running around our back, we just do this. We immediately go from, oh shit, somebody's running around our back, I have to turtle, versus going, oh shit, somebody's running to my back. Let me scramble out of this position so they don't get there in the first place. Does that make sense? Right? So as I'm watching you guys drill, you're all drilling from the collapsed turtle position, not here, spaced out, ready to move, ready to go. All right. So as you're working this, start from a position where you're already here, arch back, legs underneath you, and you're ready to run like a cat versus down here. Okay. If we're in turtle, it's like what Kurt Osiander would say, right? You fucked up a long time ago, right? So let's get ourselves sensitive to when somebody's running to our back and we're trying to scramble out of that position, break away using our hips, using the hip heights that I just showed you guys to get out of there and not allowing or conceding to them putting us in a turtle and breaking down and then having to work to our half guard. Does that make sense? All right, questions, Amy?
Could you talk us through like what your plan of action is if like specifically if you find that you have to roll to sort of a belly down situation, like are you instantly lifting your head into sort of that like leg under position, and do you worry about, I mean, I don't know, I feel like there's like seat belts and hooks and all that stuff that becomes available.
Yes, my plan of action. So there's a breaking point where as somebody is starting to get behind you, this hand right here is sneaking past the hip line. Right? So if somebody's back here, their hand's back here, they don't really have control over you. As soon as they start to attach here, now they have control, and especially if they're across the body, they have too much control. So I'm trying to stay sensitive with my elbow, and even wherever they're touching here, as soon as the hand breaks, I'm grabbing this hand and I'm punching it down. Right? So just that sensitivity of, well, it's almost like I'm grabbing for my gun and reaching for my holster as fast as I can, right? So that sensitivity of this hand breaking this line, I'm just trying to catch it here and keep those hands far away. I've noticed even when people do this to me, if they have my hands and they're keeping weight on my hands and keeping my body stretched out, one, I can't get my hooks in, right? They're pulling my hands forward and pushing weight back. So I'm too extended out to get my hooks in, right? That's one thing. And two, they're controlling how I reach so they can't grab around me. All right, does that make sense? Okay, cool. Jennifer, questions?
Yeah, so I mean, I get like this thing that we're doing at the end where it's like if they pull us down and we need to get back up and face them, but I'm having a hard time imagining, you know, once they've pulled you down, when you're trying to get up, what kind of pressure do they still have on you? So I think it's just I need someone to actually do it to me so I know where they are and what I'm countering when I'm trying to get back up.
Do you happen to have a Swiss ball at all?
Not yet, no.
Not yet. Okay. So we can I think Amy, you have a Swiss ball, so you can even demo this with the Swiss ball too. It's helpful. I'm gonna just punch one of these off the rail. So the pressure is usually at our back. Usually somebody's trying to press their weight right back here in order to break us down. Now they might move off to the side, left or right, and push us against their shoulder or pull us back against the shoulder. But usually the contact point for us with them is going to be our back against roughly their chest or anywhere in their torso right here. Also, they're moving around, so using a Swiss ball on the wall is really helpful. So you're going to be here, right? Trying to stay connected. Here. With the ball. Swiss ball is a kind of a good intermediary tool for you to use to understand how to apply your weight, because it is difficult. If you don't have an actual live person putting their weight against you, it's difficult. They're not always going to be using their chest too. They can be using just their grips around your hands, your shoulder girdles and your hips, just to pull you in and suck you in. So with that, I'll either use a Swiss ball to kind of recreate the feeling, or if you have those big assisted pull-up bands, you can also use those. And I'll try to dig through some old footage to share some work that me and Kelly did. Actually, I think it was a year ago when we were doing this drill. Solo drills on just getting up from this position. All right, any other questions? Let's work it a little for a few more minutes. I know it's pretty much class right now, just to kind of get it in our heads. And we'll go quickly. We won't stay on this next week long. I just want to show you something defensive from the turtle, especially if you're working with somebody who's really athletic, who likes to scramble out of things. So 5 more minutes to drill, and then I'll let you guys go. So if you can get to close grips around her waist, Sarah, do that, right? So no lazy hands, really aggressively attach those wrists as soon as you feel them, Sean. Or to get your base leg out, push up against her. Yeah.
That's like a whole head like, yeah. Did you hear about my
So the last part for you, Sarah, in that position where you had your weight up against her nice and good, is to pick a hand to let go, right? So you let go of one hand and this hand is gonna chop to block her just as a wall. And then you can let go of the other hand as you turn it into face her, right? So you just kind of let go, right? So you're here, you have good weight on the hands. Now you're just gonna let go. Bye. Yeah, you need to get a hold of that last wrist. So these wrists right here, hobo, use the side hip. So this is me square. And then I want to side, push it down and push my hips so I break that grip. Right, so I'm here, side, 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 use my hips. If you guys see it from here, hip, hip, break the grip, cut. All right, you guys, I think that's time for today. So again, me and Kelly are gonna try to meet up on Friday for wrestling. If you guys want to join us, just shoot me a DM. In the meantime, I will see you guys Saturday for our workout. Does anybody have to say before we log out? Otherwise, just say bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.